Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today you join us here with this absolutely gorgeous 2025 Mazda CX-70 3.3 liter Turbo S Premium Plus inline six. This is an absolutely amazing car, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you have known we have driven the CX-70 plug-in hybrid with the 4-cylinder, as well as the CX-90 plug-in hybrid, both for 1 week long-term reviews. Way back in the past, we were able to drive the CX-90 inline six right when it came out, just for about a few hours in one day, though. This is the first inline six Mazda that we've actually been able to have on the channel for a full week, and wow, I think this is the best, and I truly mean the best mid-size SUV on the market right now that's not from a luxury brand. It does everything well. It is incredibly luxurious for this class of vehicle. It is incredibly good at handling, sounds amazing with this inline six under the hood, and I have to say the engineering and stuff I've already been a huge fan of Mazda, has even more so impressed me on this CX-70. Well, they literally built a BMW. I'll get to that more in this video, but the 48-volt mild hybrid system on this car it's one of the only 48-volt mild hybrid systems next to BMW and Mercedes that literally shuts the engine off on the highway. I can go on a list about all the cool things about this vehicle. What are you getting with the Turbo S Premium Plus package versus different CX-70s, as well as why you should 100% consider this vehicle to purchase, as I have already convinced family members who have gone out and purchased said vehicle and love it. But nonetheless, let's go dive in. So what's under the hood of this Mazda CX-70 Turbo S Premium Plus? Well, there are two versions of the Mazda CX-70 as you've seen on this channel. There is the CX-70 plug-in hybrid, as well as the CX-70 gas mild hybrid models, and that is a range of inline six. It's a 3.3 liter turbocharged inline six engine, and in the CX-70 it comes in two power outputs, around 280-ish horsepower, and this particular one we have here is the 340 horsepower large turbo, one big turbo inline six mild hybrid system. And this is a proper inline six. It's mounted longitudinally. It's mounted pretty much in almost a front mid-engined format for better weight distribution. The all-wheel drive system is rear-wheel drive biased. Heck, if it didn't have the front differential and axle stuff, it would be a rear-wheel drive SUV. The balance, the steering, all the stuff in these new Mazda large platform vehicles stands out amongst this entire class of vehicle. And you have to remember what's in this class of a vehicle. We have things like a Kia Telluride. We have things like a Ford Explorer, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and a Grand Cherokee L. None of these vehicles which really inspire a lot of confidence in driving, yet this Mazda is the Alfa Romeo of the bunch, the BMW of the bunch, if you may say. And this power plant is a really fantastic way to get this vehicle. I think it's way better actually than even the plug-in hybrid variants of either the CX-90 or the CX-70. This new inline six is incredibly smooth. It has a great natural inline six grunt and sound. And with this 48-volt mild hybrid powertrain, honestly, you're getting really good MPG nonetheless for such a large vehicle that's weighing nearly 5,000 pounds. It can also tow 5,000 pounds. Yeah, it's really incredible. So this vehicle, like I said, is paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system, and that's going to give you a little bit of a smoother start-stop motion. So literally, when you stop this vehicle at a stoplight and it shuts off, you honestly don't know. I didn't know it was turning off actually this whole week. It was so smooth. And while I was driving on the highway and just cruising around town, the engine does shut off as well to help you save fuel economy. And the transition is so smooth. It's smoother than the plug-in hybrid somehow, and I don't know how they did that. So this is a really great engine, and it's of course paired to Mazda's MCT or Mazda multi-clutch transmission. It's an 8-speed multi-clutch automatic transmission. It's very unusual in the sense that it's not a typical torque converter 8-speed automatic transmission. Hence, there's been some complaints, I would say, early on of some rough shifts, and I have felt that on earlier models, but they have retuned it. You can definitely notice the retuning. It's still a good transmission when you're really on it and driving in a good manner, though. I do still have those that second gear kind of crunching sound. It's just how this transmission is. I'm sure they're going to improve it over time, but day-to-day driving, if you're on light throttle, it's incredibly smooth, light powertrain, so I really don't have to worry about that too much whatsoever. And yeah, have a gorgeous look at this engine bay, guys, and let's go dive into the design of this awesome Mazda. So now over to the design of this all-new Mazda CX-70. You know, we are huge fans of Mazda and their design language here, so it's up to you to determine if you like the look of this vehicle. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous in this optional melting copper metallic paint shade. It looks like honestly a better Lexus RX in that sense. And with the Mazda CX-70 versus the CX-90, you're getting a lot of standard unique bits, such as this really gorgeous dark graphite chrome style trim throughout the entirety of the exterior. And if you come down lower over here, you're going to see you have a larger, more sportier looking bumper garnish over here, as well as in this lower kind of area over here versus the CX-90, which is a smooth bumper. So that's a little bit more of a different look here. Now, when you go for a Premium Plus inline six in the United States, for some reason the Premium Plus plug-in hybrid doesn't get this. You get the absolute full LED lights. And what I mean by that is that this little accent little piece here, this little L shape, illuminates here on the Turbo S Premium Plus. I don't know why it doesn't on the plug-in hybrid Premium Plus in the United States. It's a weird little omission there. Now, coming over to the side of the Mazda CX-70, you can accentuate that length a little bit more so with this really cool inline 6 badge over here. And since we have the top trim here, we're getting a dark chrome accented piece within this side panel over here where it says inline 6. I think this looks really, really cool. Again, helps to accentuate that big length over here. We are also getting this body colored kind of body cladding over here for a little bit more of a wider fender flare there, which I think is really fantastic. And this wheel is a gorgeous 21-inch kind of machined multicolor spoke finish wheel here. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous wheel. It's very reminiscent to me of like an X3 wheel, I've always said, but I think it looks great here on the new CX-70s. These tires are also pretty good. And since what I've noticed versus the earlier CX-90s and this newer CX-70 is Mazda has retuned the suspension actually to make it more compliant for road use. Those early CX-90s are really, really hard, I felt, and had a lot of noise coming through the cabin. This totally changes it. It's way smoother on the road. It handles bumps a lot better. I'm not sure if it's due to this wheel and tire combination, but I've noticed the big change there. I think that's a big, big plus on Mazda's front. Now, coming around to the rear end of this particular Mazda CX-70, again, really gorgeous color here. You can see a lot more of those black accents. I love the stance of this vehicle. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that for some reason that I've also noticed in the United States, you can only get these full-length exhaust tips if you opt for a higher spec inline 6 model. We just had a CX-70 plug-in hybrid Premium Plus, and this whole piece of the taillight was not able to turn on whatsoever. I don't know why they done that. I really hope they can fix that because that's a little strange. I think all the Premium Plus models should have the same taillight, but nonetheless, I think it looks way, way, way better with the full taillight. I think it really completes the design other than just having this end piece lit up. Again, with the CX-70, you're getting a unique bumper design versus a CX-90, so you're getting these kind of faux grille style accents over here with the reflectors blended in. Again, I think it looks really cool. It looks a little bit more sportier and more adventurous than a CX-90, which is a little bit more leaning on that luxury and more cargo and practicality side standpoint there in terms of passengers. And I mean in terms of passengers because as we all know, the CX-70 and the CX-90 are the same vehicle, and the CX-70 just doesn't have a third row. So when you open up this trunk boot over here, you have a truly insane amount of cargo space back here. It's, I think, over 40 cubic feet of cargo space behind this second row. And this is actually a really useful thing for a lot of people. And since under the floor here, we don't have a spare, there's a little bit more stuff you can kind of fit some little things over there for some more additional storage. This second row can also be folded down by the press of these two buttons, so you still do have to put it up manually. And when you do fold those seats down, you get, I think, around 75 cubic feet of cargo space, which is also really, really nice. We have LED accented lighting back here as well, and there's a lot of different Mazda accessories on their website for your pets, for your groceries, for cargo management. There's trays and there's boxes and stuff you can order. There's so many fun things you could do with this trunk since there's just so much space back here. And again, we can see those ties to the CX-90 as Mazda has kept the cup holder cutouts on the side over there for the third row on the CX-90. So you can really tell it is the same car in that aspect, but I really do honestly appreciate this incredible amount of space here. I think a lot of buyers are both appreciating the more cooler looks of the CX-70, the cooler colors you can get, as well as the more just general space all the time, because not everyone needs a third row at all times, and I think with this a lot of extra storage in here, I think it's just overall quite nice. Okay, folks, let's go hop in the rear end of this Mazda CX-70 inline 6 Turbo S here, and as you can see, the rear doors on this vehicle are massive, which is great for getting in and out. I love the color on the door handles here. As you can also see, we have privacy glass on our rear quarter window and rear windows as well. Opening up the door, And this will reveal an absolutely gorgeous interior that is locked up to the Turbo S Premium Plus trims. But wow, this is nice. This is a tan Napa leather and micro suede interior with this kind of wood style accent here. This gunmetal trim finishes on the doors. This is all leather with this nice contrast tan stitching. And we have our upgraded Bose 12 speaker audio systems. We have plenty of speakers throughout this cabin. The lower door cards over here have plenty of room for cups and other things as well. And we even have sunshades on the back of these. They're manual, but I think that's pretty nice for how big this window is. And just check out how gorgeous and luxury feeling these seats are. This is a really nice interior. This is Napa leather, tan Napa leather, tan contrast stitching. We have these nice quilted accents in the center here with this center leather stripe going down the center. And these seats do recline back here, so we do have manual recline on both sides. You can see the steep angle they are at right now. And this is a really comfortable space. So let's hop inside. Pretty easy to get in as well. And if you did want to fold down these seats, like I mentioned before, those buttons out back make that a pretty hassle-free job for you. Climbing inside, and we can close up our door. Nice solid thunk there. And check out this rear space here. So we have plenty of legroom, up to 39 inches, I believe, in this CX-70. So I'm sitting in my driving position up front here. This is actually what Mazda set from their kinematic adjustment there. You can do it through the infotainment system and to your height, and it gives you your seat. So it actually works pretty well. And I have lots of legroom sitting behind myself and footroom, as well as knee space. And the floor space as well is really great. The other great thing about this is that the bolstering on the seats is fantastic. So you have a good angle to the seats. You don't feel like you're sitting upright whatsoever. Very comfortable. Lots of nice cushion back here as well, which I really like. This second center area over here is actually very usable for a third passenger back here. And you can fold down this armrest over here, which gives you 2 extra cup holders, which is quite a nice touch as well. This is a little bit of a hump in this center area over here, and this is obviously because this is a rear-wheel drive based vehicle, so there's your drive line, there's battery packs under the vehicle. So sitting in the center area over here, you may have to put your feet up a little bit, but it does work actually. You can still have 2 people sitting next to you. It's just going to be a little uncomfortable maybe in this center area, though you will have command access to this center control area over here. You are getting heated outboard seats with 3 levels of heating, as well as your own climate control system back here, 2 USB-C ports as well, and this gunmetal finish accented little air vent control panel back here. So lots of nice stuff going on, which I think is quite nice. We are also getting our own LED lighting back here as nice, which is well. And grab handles, of course, a nice little touch. And this massive panoramic roof, which does open up front, also really helps open up this cabin. And I have to say, headroom back here is really fantastic. This is eye level. I would say I have like an additional inch or 2 of headroom back here, so really good on headroom as well. So this is a pretty roomy rear seat area over here, and this is a great reason for this vehicle. You can have lots of cargo in your trunk back there, as well as plenty of second row space for really long road trips, hauling your family around as well as their cargo. But let's go have a look up front over here, because this upper space is a gorgeous place to be in. Now, hopping up front in the Mazda CX-70 Turbo S Premium Plus, we have our Mazda key fob here. Of course, simple controls, though. If you do have the Mazda app, you can remote start the vehicle. Of course, we have keyless access, but I just want to unlock it to show you guys the really nice taillights and the pulsating turn signals. As you can see from this key fob here, we do have full power folding mirrors on unlock, which is a nice touch. And of course, we can just use our door handle there to do such an action. Opening up the doors over here, we can reveal quite plenty of space as well, and even more nice looking door panels over here. More of that nice material covering the whole door panels. I love Mazda's controls over there. Nice chrome accented controls over as well on the door panel. And these front seats are, I believe, 8 ways. So we have full power adjustment for both front driver and passenger, as well as lumbar adjustment, which is a nice touch. And these seats are even nicer looking than the rear seats. I love this kind of 2-tone finish with this micro suede material, the leather, the stitching, as well as this nice Napa leather, which is very nice and premium feeling as well. And you can see that large panoramic glass roof right above us. You can optionally get these really nice dark gunmetal finished illuminating CX-70 side sill plates if you do choose to opt for that. This one does not have that though, and as well as some other floor mat options, though these are quite nice, pretty thick actually, and they have a nice amount of room over here to sit while you're driving. Let's hop inside. Nice solid door thunk here, and I just love how this interior comes together. I've been in a plenty of CX-90 and CX-70 over the past 2 years, and it always just gets me. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous space. I love the Bose speaker grills up here, and just the overall design, how everything just flows together. The nice stitching and everything is just really, really a nice space. So let's start up our CX-70. We do so with the start-stop button right here mounted on the dash, and it comes to life. So like I said, you're getting a lot of nice luxurious features in here. One of those is this two-tone steering wheel here, fully leather wrapped, really nice grips and hand holding areas. We have this nice contrast stitching on it as well. I love Mazda's new steering wheel design. Really luxurious feeling, I would have to say. It also fully power adjustable as well, which is great. It also pairs with your memory seats, and that's also a wonderful feature. Very simple controls, as if you're familiar with Mazda steering wheels. All of our media controls are on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we have our controls for the full Mazda suite of I-Activ safety sense systems. So we have steering assist, lane keep assist on this particular one, full radar adaptive cruise control, and so many safety systems that I genuinely do not think I could list them off the top of my head. That's how much stuff you're getting with this vehicle. This can also change the display for you, which is really nice. But also changes the display, though, is our Mazda intelligent drive selector mode. So this is a gorgeous little way to control those modes here. And this one does get, I believe, 3. So we have off-road mode, and this will change our screen for you. So we have a little bit of these cool off-road gauges, which I think looks really cool. You can even see how it looks like in this view as well. And we also have our normal mode, which we just saw, as well as a sport mode, which is my favorite mode, because that really awakens this vehicle. I love the graphics it does as well in both of these style of animations there. So really cool stuff going on with this 12.3-inch digital cluster. There's some more information being displayed up here in our active driving display, as Mazda calls it, which is just our heads-up display. So that's a very crystal clear way to view your speed, and some directional stuff over there as well. On our left-hand side, we have controls to turn off our safety systems if they are irritating you, which is a nice button for some people. You can turn on and off our parking sensors, traction control, and turn off I-Stop, which is our auto stop start / 48 volt style kind of coasting system. So honestly, don't turn this off. It works so well in this vehicle. You trust me, you'll love it. Just try it. Otherwise, we have automatic headlights, automatic high beams, automatic wipers. So all of that great stuff in this vehicle, as you should expect for this price point. We are also getting that Alcantara style microsuede material on the entire dash with this really nice piping, real stitching, this gunmetal finish across. It feels like a way more expensive vehicle in this car, and that is the whole point that Mazda is really trying to go for here. I love how they keep this area padded. This is great touch here for your knee area. It's stitched, very comfortable to rest on, more of that dark gunmetal finish, and I really like this kind of wood style trim accent in the center console area over here. We have our very slim leather wrapped Mazda shifter over here, which can be a little bit confusing to use at first, but just release the lock there, put it into reverse neutral drive, back up into park as well. We have a great easy access for our hill descent control button, as well as our really great camera system over here. So very crystal clear cameras on these newer Mazdas here. You can kind of cycle through a whole bunch of different displays as well, and you can pop your control dial over to get this kind of under hood style display. So when you start driving, it'll kind of display the vehicle under there. And if you opt for the tow package, you'll get a rear tow hitch view as well, which is really nice. And of course, all of that is controlled by Mazda's fantastic control wheel over here. Still feels great to touch to me. I think I love the system personally. So that's just a personal thing there. If you aren't a fan of that, you can use Apple CarPlay and touch to display. Only in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, though. It doesn't work in the regular Mazda infotainment system version. But I think it's really easy to use. We have a volume knob here, forward and reverse. We have a favorite button as well, an easy quick access button to other pieces of this infotainment system. We have our electronic parking brake and easy button for our auto brake hold as well, and a wireless charger here, which I'm actually not too big of a fan of. I think it's a little too narrow. Mazda needs to expand this. It's a little bit too narrow for even my phone, an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it doesn't always charge properly. But we do have a 12-volt socket here. But you may be wondering, where are the USB-C ports? Well, they're not in these two front cup holders over here, but they are in this center console area over here, which is leather wrapped, nicely stitched, and opens in a fan style layout here. And that's where you're going to find your two USB-C ports, which are illuminated in this Mazda CX-70. This center console area over here is a little bit on the more shallow side. You probably have like 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches of depth in here, maybe 5 inches. It's not too big, but it is felt lined on the bottom. So I would like to see a little bit more storage in the center console area over here. But we do have pretty big door cards, as well as a glove box over here, which has this nice chrome finished opener, felt lined on the interior as well. And I believe you have to have the headlights on to have the light on in here. Yes, that is true. So once the headlights are on, you'll have that light on them there, which is LED, which is a nice touch. I like how they separate our climate systems. This has been a great thing. In all the CX-70s and 90s, though, the buttons are a little bit unusual to get used to at first. You can't push these up, for example, to go from hot to cold. They're all pushing down, but we do get ventilated and heated front passenger and driver seats, as well as a heated steering wheel up here, full automatic climate control as well, and we can control our second row climate through the system as well, so it's pretty easy. But the rest of all the stuff is really baked into our infotainment system here. I've done a lot of in-depth reviews and details on this infotainment system here, but we'll just go through it again for you guys. We have different driver profiles, very simple, easy to use. You can also see there's little infrared sensors on the side over here for the camera facial recognition system for your driver profiles, so you can customize a profile to your face. So you just hop in the car, it sees you, and it'll adjust everything to your own positioning, which is really cool. I like this display over here, our fuel efficiency monitor. So this is going to show us what's happening with our 48-volt battery, our engine, as well as our electric motor, and we're going to see how long we get to coast on the highway with the engine off, which is really cool, or as well as when we come to a stop and the engine turns off, and it shows you how much energy you have recuperated on your drive, but yeah, this is a great overview, I would say, of this interior. There's a lot of fun features in here. It's a great driving position. I have to say, there's plenty of leg and knee space over here. The seats are pretty comfortable. They could use a little bit more bolstering, maybe on the upper back portion of the seats, but I think they're quite comfortable. Maybe a little bit stiff for some people, but I think they get used to and more kind of settled in over time. Otherwise, guys, let's go take this Mazda CX-70 Turbo S Premium Plus on a drive, because this thing is genuinely fun and enjoyable to drive on a daily basis. So let's start off in normal and head off here. Now, this vehicle is really fun, just because we have a great sounding inline six, and the fact that we have a really great 48-volt mild hybrid system here that we can actually monitor via our information display over here on our infotainment screen. So you can see what's happening with our 48-volt motors, as well as our engine and the whole driveline, which is pretty cool. Now, this vehicle, the CX-70, has been enhanced, I would say, over the CX-90, in the sense that it's almost like a facelifted version, I would say, of a CX-90. We have a retuned gearbox a little bit, which is the CX-90 update is now getting. We also are getting a little bit more of a refined suspension. It's softer, better, manages bumps, but obviously those giant potholes we just saw there, nothing will do well over. But you're still getting that great handling experience out of this chassis for this class of a vehicle. So, you know, going around these corners here, the steering is so well weighted. It feels really great. Good feedback, actually, for this class of vehicle, which is crazy. And acceleration is very strong with this turbocharged inline six under the hood, which I think sounds absolutely fantastic. I think they did a great job of really bringing out the character of that engine into the cabin as well. But the 48-volt system, the electric motor, it really helps to kind of just fill in any sort of gaps in that power band, and it helps incredibly well when you come to a stop here. It just shuts off so smoothly and seamlessly when the vehicle is warmed up, and you have a good amount of charge in your 48-volt battery as well, which is really nice. Coming out of corners, this thing just rockets itself, honestly, out of the corners. Great traction from these tires. This all-wheel drive system is really good as well, I would have to say. And that inline six engine sound is just sweet. There's just one big old turbo under the hood, making all of this possible. Brakes are really strong. You know, one thing I've always said about Mazda's braking system is there's a lot of pedal travel, but it does get the job done once you do get used to it a little bit. A little bit snowy conditions, as we can see here today. One of my favorite things, though, with this car is just taking it through a corner. It just has such great body control. It's very planted in corners, which is not something you typically talk about in these mid-size crossover SUV segment here. So Mazda's done a great job like that. Like I said, it's like the Alfa Romeo of the segment, if you want to think of it in that sense, but with reliability. The other great thing about this car is it has Mazda's KPC, which they call their kinematic posture control. So going through corners, what the vehicle does is kind of use a torque vectoring by braking system, monitors the all-wheel drive system, distributes power properly, and it will kind of help you kind of torque vector the vehicle through a corner in that sense, which is pretty cool. It almost has the Mercedes Vision style windshield wipers there. It's coming out of the wipers, which is kind of nice, really more effective at cleaning the windshield. And the great thing about this car is it has so many different personalities. So in sport mode, this gearbox is really, really on edge, and they've really enhanced the transmission tuning of this gearbox, because at first it was a little bit all over the place. Strong acceleration as well. And everything about this vehicle is all about confidence in your handling, in your motions, and your driving experience. It does all of that really well. You can put the power down properly. You don't feel like, you know, it's going to be all over the place. The only thing is, I would say, is the second gear, when you're kind of going through it, if you're kind of accelerating harder, it does have a little bit of a strange motion to it sometimes. Manual mode works really well, I would say, as well in this vehicle. Third gear on it. Really, really quick up to highway speeds, no problem there. We also have M hybrid boost here, so that electric motor can actually act as a boost on the highway. When you're really on it in sport mode, you'll have a little boost gauge come on there, and you can use that battery power to give you a little bit more extra horsepower, which is pretty fun. Mazda calls it their M hybrid boost. Otherwise though, out here on the highway, it's pretty good. It's generally quite quiet in here. You can actually close up your sunshade on top over there, which is actually going to keep the cabin a little bit better insulated, I would say, as well as also keeping it a little bit more quiet. Kind of reduces some of the road noise we have out here on the highway. And another great thing about this vehicle, of course, is our safety systems, as well as our Mazda radar adaptive cruise control. So it's really easy to access. You just press your button over here on the right hand side of the steering wheel, set your speed, and you're ready to go. So it's going to keep track of those lanes for you, which is really nice. And you can see it's having full steering assist, and I really like this gauge that Mazda puts in there. It maps all the vehicles it sees around you. Your follow vehicle is a Mazda 3 hatchback, which is really cool, and it works pretty well. This is a really more enhanced and revised system of the earlier CX-90 ones. I remember it has a great lane curve assist around corners. You can see it knows it's a corner, and it's showing you that as well. I like how it's like communicating with the driver as well as the road as well. So it's doing a good job on those fronts. You can also just use the adaptive cruise control portion of it and turn off this kind of lane keep steering assist. So if you don't want that, you can just keep the radar cruise control on, which is really nice. And as you've noticed, if you may notice really carefully out here on the highway, it's actually turning the engine off. So it uses that I-Stop feature, and it'll shut the engine off, and when it's coasting a little bit, it'll turn itself back on, like a 48 volt mild hybrid system should be doing. Not many vehicles with 48 volt systems do this. So BMWs, Mercedes do this on the highways. So that's a really, really cool feature. I like how Mazda has baked that into here, and really they're taking advantage of this, what the capabilities of the 48 volt system. Not as to the fullest extent as some of those more luxurious marques, but I'm glad they actually incorporated this option for this inline six. It definitely does some more, not necessarily on the cruise control mode. If you're kind of just driving along, getting up to speed like this, let off your gas right there, it'll kind of just bring itself to a stop, which is really, really cool. And you can, like I mentioned in our full tour review, if you keep an eye out on your energy flow monitor, it'll actually keep a track of time over time of how long the engine's actually just been off and coasting, to kind of see how much you're being efficient while driving on the highway, which is really, really cool. I'm just a huge fan of this I-Stop feature that Mazda has included on this CX-70 Turbo S Premium Plus. It's so cool. As you can see here, guys, it's literally just shut off on the highway right now. And the transition to make it go back into gas is instant, seamless. Foot on the pedal, it's on. It uses that integrated starter generator, which is just fully electric driven, to just instantly kick it on thanks to that 48 volt system. Now I'm going to be able to come to a stop here. Let's see if we can come to a full stop right here without the engine turning on whatsoever. It's still off right now. You can see our timing is still off. Still says I-Stop. We're coming to a stop here. This is where the efficiency in this vehicle is impressive. It does some really cool things that I think a lot of other manufacturers really should start including. If you could do a little bit more of harder braking, it could actually turn the engine on, but we are coming to a full stop right now, and the engine did not turn on once. Obviously it has to turn on now because I have to go, but this has been a great week with this car. I really, really have always been obsessed with this platform and of the Mazda large architecture, and you know, this is just kind of feeding in a little bit more. But yeah, this has been a great week with this Mazda CX-70 Turbo S Premium Plus. It's luxurious, it's comfortable, great visibility, it drives fantastic, it has the cargo capacity. If you need the third row, go for the 90. It's pretty much the same vehicle, other than some minor tweaks and looks. But this gets a near perfect score for me from Allcarnews. If you are looking to get one of these vehicles, my only quirks are, if you don't really like how that gearbox is tuned, sometimes you might have to look at maybe a different Mazda, but you know, you can't beat this. This is a great, really great car. As always, guys, thank you for watching Allcarnews. Make sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.